see it at the movie theater, but maybe wait till it comes out to DVD. So now let me talk about systems of ethics, and we'll talk about it if you're a religious person and buy this whole thing, and then if you're not a religious person and buy this whole thing. So first, from a religious perspective, we could say in a perfect world, according to this, humanity is put here, we're made in the image of God, which means we got God-given intelligence. God had a plan for the world, and we should be able to see the plan for the world, see what's right about it, see what's wrong about it, and then fix what's wrong to get it back on track. And the whole point of ethics, then, ethics is, what should we do? Right? What are the good things to do? Do these things, everybody will be happier. Go against these things will fall apart even more. No one will be happy. Ethically, should we have eaten of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? No, that was a mistake. We ate of the tree, things fell apart. We wouldn't have eaten of the tree and just lived with being second banana to God, things would have been better. But same, live if you're a parent and you actually love your children, you'll be happier. If you're a parent and you hate your children and begrudge every little moment you spend with them, your life's probably not going to be happy. And maybe what you should do, according to this whole analysis, is work on to say, well, why don't I love them? Maybe I need to work on trying to love them. Because I get that that's the way it should be, and there's something wrong if I don't love them. Or if you're working with other people and you see, well, yeah, but don't you love, yeah, I know your kids are annoying, they're annoying me too. But don't you love them anyway? And they say, no, actually I can't stand them. And not just right now, I just can't. That's a problem, you might say. Maybe we need to work on that. So that would be a kind of an approach to ethics to say, we see the way the world should be, we understand it, and so we can see exactly how it's broken, and we, being made in the image of God and super intelligent, know exactly how to fix it. And so what we should do is work to fix it. Be really nice if that's the way the world worked. Like if it was broken in clear ways that we can clearly see and everybody agrees, and then we knew what to do to fix it. The world doesn't quite work that way, does it? So even if we all agree that according to the natural law, parents should love their children, then you find some parents who don't love their children, what is the ethical thing to do? Snap your fingers or wave your magic wand and make them love them? We can't do that, right? We can't snap our fingers and fix that problem. We could say, you should love your children. Oh yeah, that'll fix the problem, right? Oh, thank you. Okay, now I do. No, that wouldn't. You can't. Just complaining about it, just pointing out the problem doesn't solve the problem. So what do? You could say, gee, maybe we have some people who could study psychology who can come up with reasons why people love things and don't love other things, and we could then work with you to see what is it that went wrong that you don't love your children. But it's going to be a little the way we live in the world now, it's going to be a little ambiguous. Like we don't really know what to do, even once we've addressed, oh yeah, that's actually a problem. But what to do about it, that's not real obvious. But we can't just snap our fingers. But that's when we turn to science to say, well, how could you address this problem? Why do people love? Has anybody studied that? And can we work with somebody to change the things that they love or to heal this broken relationship? And then if we could figure out some ways to do that, then we'd recommend them to that person. Hey, you'd be happier if you went through this program of therapy or whatever it was. Now, what if we believe actually most of the world is so confusing that we don't even know what's broken about it because we're so broken ourselves? I mean, what if, well, I just grew up in a family where, yeah, everybody hated everybody. My parents hated me, but they tolerated me, and they put clothes on my back and food in my belly, and that was good enough, and that's all anybody ever gets, right? That's the norm. So this idea of loving, I don't see it. It's just not realistic. And what if the brokenness becomes the norm so that we can't even see where it's right? Well, if we're religious people, then what we could fall back on is, but God, along with making the world, did give us a plan. We have things like the Ten Commandments. Has anybody not heard of the Ten Commandments? The Ten Commandments is like, a little short list of do these things. There's actually 613 commandments or something in the Old Testament. But the Ten Commandments, especially Christians like to look at and say, here's the short list. And one of those is, love your parents, respect your parents. So if we didn't think we could really understand the world and see where it's broken or understand how to fix it, then the fallback position would be, well, God, could you just give us some rules to live by? Give us a playbook. And if you just follow the playbook, it says here, rule number 347, parents should love their children. You're not following this rule, follow the rule. That would be, if we couldn't understand how the world was broken, that would be a fallback position that would actually work. If we were given rules that really were good rules. Following the rule book, that's the duty ethics. It's saying, here's some rules about how things should be, and compare that to the way things are, and where it's out of line, get in line. It's a perfectly reasonable way of being in the world, especially for religious people, if you say, God gave us these rules, and God created the world, so I'm sure if we follow them, we'd be better off. But you got to trust the rule giver, and why you do that is you say, because the world just looks like a mess. Means ends kind of ethics are what we were talking about with the natural law. That is, I can see the way things should be. I can see the ends. I can see what we want. I want kids to be happy and parents to be happy. And I get that they're not because there's some love missing there. So now the means to the ends that we want, what should we do? We should have these people work on loving each other. Because I get that that's why they're unhappy. Because these parents aren't loving their children. So a different whole ethical system is predicated on the fact of you can see what's wrong with the world and know how to fix it, is a means-ends approach to ethics. If you're a religious person, you see the ends are the good, perfect working of the world the way God meant it to work. And then the means, you use various means to fix it, getting it back to the way it should be. Versus a rule-based, which is the world's just a confusing place, but God gave us 613 commandments in the Old Testament, or the 10 Commandments, greatest hits. Follow these, and we'll be